Hello, hello, hello. I am live a minute early to get things tested, make sure we're working. Um, and as people join, I would love to hear who you are, where you're watching from, and hopefully this will be just interactive as it was when we would do these on Facebook Live. But this time we're trying YouTube Live because, at least as of now, I don't know that YouTube deletes videos like Facebook is going to start doing after just 30 days. So that's why we're here. We will get started right at 8 o'clock. Again, I'm just on a minute early to make sure things are working well. They do seem to be, but I'll know better if someone's able to join live and to chat. You can still chat live, which is one of my favorite parts. So like I said, please comment throughout if you're live, and please comment throughout if you're on replay, and I'll try to catch those comments later. But I am Hannah with Hannah Crafted Gifts. I'm here in my Stampin' Up t-shirt tonight to go through the new 2025 to 2026 annual catalog. And I hope it's reading the right way for you. On Facebook, I figured out how to make sure it read the right way, although I didn't always get that right. And I hope it's working on YouTube. So we're going to get right in. I'm going to give you a tour through the catalog. I have some product and project samples to share with you. And then at the end, we're going to talk prizes. So rewards and prizes, I should say. Sorry for like the glow and the lights behind me. I'm going to try to block those with my head. But there we go. Okay, let's get started. So I have my bookmark that I made here. I'm going to go ahead and pull that. Well, actually, maybe I'll leave that on. It says you inspire me on the inside. That was one of my little gifts for my teammates at Onstage recently. But I wanted to go ahead and start on the very first page, inside of the front cover. We have this message from Sarah, the CEO, who I really admire. I got to meet Onstage. Re-meet, and her mom, who I'd met the year before at Onstage, who's the co-founder and current board chair, I believe is her title. It says yes here. And they always write a message at the beginning, and I always find it quite inspiring. And so I just wanted to share a couple lines of it with you. So it starts out by saying, for us, paper crafting is about creating something meaningful and memorable for the important people in our lives. And I guess that's kind of their guiding principle that they're suggesting to go through this catalog, is try to find things that will help you make those meaningful and memorable things for the important people in your life. Maybe think about who those people are. I see someone's watching. I'd love to hear who you are, where you're watching from, and maybe who one of those important people is in your life. For me, I'll share a couple of mine are my parents. And then this message from Sarah and Shelley ends with, let me find what I wanted to share with you. Okay. We hope as you look through this catalog, you'll find many products made with your needs in mind to help create stronger connections and rewarding experiences with the people around you. And that's certainly why I do this, is to connect with others like you through creativity. It says, after all, why we create and who we create for are just as important as what we create. So the why and the who is just as important, I would say, if not more so than the what. So anyway, this catalog is kind of a means to an end. Whatever your end is, it can maybe be the means, whether it's creating cards of support, creating gifts to celebrate, creating memory keeping, to keep, the good, the bad, the sad, and everything in between in memory. So those are just a few ideas. I'd love to hear yours. And those who are watching live, I'd love to see if the chat is working. Go ahead and try putting something in the chat for me if you can. I should be able to see it come through. It may just be delayed. We'll see. But I'm really hoping this can be just as interactive as these have been in the past. All right, so page 2 is kind of our guide to the catalog. And I just wanted to share with you that the N for new icon is back. I know this is small. I don't expect you to see the detail on my screen. I'll be talking through the things that I'm pointing out. But you can get a catalog at stampinup.com. You can also see everything in the catalog on stampinup.com. And I'm just kind of walking you through to share some of the highlights of the new things with you, or some of the new, layout format kind of things. So anyway, the N in pink, when you see that on a product, that means it's new, and that helps you find things, because sometimes you don't recognize things that have been around for a while. At least I don't. And the catalog is still formatted the same way that they kind of reformatted things last year, with 3 sections: step-by-step crafting, which is like maybe beginners or for the quick and easy on-the-go crafts for even those of us who've been doing this for a while. Then the quick and easy section, which again might be that next step for a casual crafter, or just things that can make it quick and easy for us doing this a lot. And then creativity your way, which is like everything. When you have a room like this filled with stuff. But they did take some feedback after last year and brought back some of the old formatting that people missed. So you'll see some of that, especially when we get to the back of the catalog. So on page 4, it talks about Stampin' Up's Make a Difference program. And I just wanted to point that out because that's one of the whys or the who that Stampin' Up serves through what they do. As they say, it's so much more than stamps, ink, and paper. It's not even just the people in our lives, but maybe the people in our communities, the people in the world that we can serve through this. And there's lots of different ways to do that. And then it talks about gathering. If you want to host a gathering, and I've been thinking about it since Onstage, or I thought about at Onstage a bit. I really feel like one of my favorite things and one of the gifts I can bring to handcrafted gifts is connecting. And so I would love to help you, whoever you are watching, friends or new friends, friends yet to be, to connect with the people in your life. So if you wanted to talk about hosting a gathering where you could bring together family, friends, neighbors, coworkers, and I could create the opportunity for you all to connect through something creative that I could facilitate for you. And so it'd be like a really easy way to spend quality time with others. And I see Lisa, yay. Oh, I'm so glad you are, you're on here to chat. Okay. So interesting. So you were connecting through Facebook to YouTube. I didn't even know that was possible, but that's good to know. I did post a link on Facebook. So anyway, thanks for figuring it out so that you could chat. I'm so glad you're here. So yes, if you also connected through Facebook, maybe go into the Facebook app or the Facebook website, and you may be able to chat there if you're wanting to chat. Okay. So moving right along. Oh, okay, good. I did mark this page. I'm like, I didn't mark this page. So one of the things I love about this new catalog, and I'll be honest, I prepped for this about a month ago. So I'm going to be reminding myself of some things tonight. But I love that it's almost, well, it is not almost, it is interactive. It's a bit of a journal as well as an inspiration book, as well as a catalog to shop. And so it starts on page 7 with this finding your reason to craft. And it shares some examples, but then it encourages you to write your own. Sorry, I just realized I didn't put do not disturb on, so I'm going to do that on my devices so you don't get dings. But yeah, write some of your own reasons to craft. So again, your whys or your whos for the what of crafting. And I think that's really cool to have that right here in the front to kind of remind you the reason behind it all for you. I'd love to hear some of your reasons. Lisa and others who are watching live or on replay, what are some of your reasons to craft? All right, on page 8, it talks about rewards. And I'm just going to go ahead and share this part now. So I will share about prizes at the end. But Stampin' Up! Has changed their reward system. This happened a couple weeks ago now. And so some of you may have already benefited from this if you've been placing orders. But now you earn rewards, like a loyalty reward, for every time you purchase over $20. So all you have to do is purchase $20 before shipping and tax, and you're going to earn 10% back in rewards that you can use on future purchases. And they don't expire for a year, so you can accumulate them and use them all at once, or you can use them as you earn them. It's completely up to you. So 10% back on every order of $20 or more. So that's really exciting. Stampin' Up! Had shared on stage that the people benefiting from the rewards program was going to go from, can't remember the exact numbers, I have it written down somewhere, but somewhere in the 40% range to the 90% range with this change. So that's really exciting. So with that, I won't be doing the same, one of the same 2 prizes I used to do. I will still be doing one, and I'll share that at the end. But I used to do a prize where I would give you back basically product of your choice, like a reward. But now Stampin' Up! Is doing that for me. So you're going to get that 10% on what you purchase today, tomorrow, and forevermore. For the foreseeable future, at least. All right, so this first section is the step-by-step crafting. So again, this is themed projects with step-by-step instructions for guided creative experiences, although you can always go outside the instructions, which I sometimes like to challenge myself to do. So basically, Kit's collection is the most step-by-step. So is Paper Pumpkin. We'll talk about that at the end because it's in the back of the catalog. But this new kit just came out today, the Beautiful Blues kit, or just came out online at least. But that's here in the catalog. I just was playing with the heirloom arrangement kit for an event I have coming up. But there's lots of kits, not just what you see in the catalog. This is just a couple, well, 4. But they come out with 2 or 3 every month, and they stay around until they stop stocking them, which we don't always know when that will be. So if you see one that you like, get it quickly. I'm really excited about this pop-up pals kit, which I think is really cute. But it's not just cards, it's gift packaging, it's home decor, it's seasonal items, holiday items, all sorts of things. Also in this section, you'll find the scrapbooking workshop kits. So there's, I think, 4 of these as well. So Memories in Bloom, this coordinates with a suite in the catalog that we'll see later. I'm going to flip through these quickly because there's so much good stuff to get through tonight. What is this one called? Turtley Suite, which also coordinates with a suite in the catalog. A suite, if you will. Did I flag any of these? I guess not. I just was flagging that they're here. So the Weekend Adventures. This one you won't see anywhere else. This one is just in the catalog and just in scrapbooking. You'll see it a couple places as scrapbook items because there are scrapbook items throughout the catalog, which is a little confusing, and I'll try to share more about that later. And then lastly, Celebrate Together, which this coordinates with actually a suite from the online exclusives that released today as well. Same time as the annual catalog. I had to think about that because we had pre-orders as demonstrators. But let me see what I wanted to point out to you about this one. That might have been it, but I want to make sure I'm not missing things. Let's see. So I guess I'll just kind of go through one of these. So they each tell you what they have in them. They all have slightly different things. And they make layouts with instructions. They all have a featured technique. So for this one, it's adding details with embossing powder. It tells you the featured colors and the additional products, like in this case, what you would have to do that heat embossing. So yes, so these are the scrapbook workshop kits. Again, we will see these 4 scrapbook styles later in the catalog. And every time you see them, things are a little different. So if you love the Celebrate Together look and theme, then you'll have to get everything Celebrate Together to get all the pieces. You might get some duplicates because there is some carryover, but each way of buying the scrapbook product has something a little different, like a few different sheets of the DSP or something like that. So you could really have to compare them to know, and each one is like each of the 4 themes is different too. So anyway, I'm probably confusing you more. Don't worry about it. We can always talk more about it if you are confused. So on page 22, this is more of that kind of journaling element that this catalog has, which is really cool. So this is about the creative challenge. And so it's asking you to create color combos, design mashup with different designer series paper and stamp sets, and then creating templates, which you'll see templates throughout this catalog. I think we're about to see some on the next pages. But again, I just think that's really fun that you can kind of turn this into a creative journal. Sorry, I'm continuing to try to block the light. Maybe if I go, no, I just have to stay right in the center. Ooh, this is gonna be tricky, y'all. Sorry, you're gonna see the light. But by the time this is over, it's gonna be dark, and I wouldn't make it down the stairs without that light. So let me try that. Okay. Every time I turn, it just shines at you again, doesn't it? All right. So the next section is quick and easy options on page 23, and on page 24, that's where you see those templates down at the bottom here. Different card templates. So that is one nice thing about the catalog, because I'm not sure you would find those on the website. You'll find all the product on the website, and you'll find some kind of inspiration book information on the website. But that is one thing that the catalog is kind of becoming unique for, I think, is being an inspiration book. You do see a lot of project samples, I guess, on the website, which is helpful, and you could, infer layouts from that. Let's see. I don't have every page flagged, thank goodness, although you can see there's still lots. I ran out of one color of flag and had to switch at some point, as you see, from purple to yellow. On page 28, we also have scrapbook layouts. So I think that's a really neat new addition. There's a lot more scrapbooking in this catalog. Here, if I hold that closer, you can see a little better. So yes, all you scrapbookers out there, you are well included. And then on page 30, this is Memories and More. So this is a way of scrapbooking, like this photo journaling. And so you have the album and pages, and these Celebration Expressions, Memories and More card pack was one of the prize patrols that we got on stage, which I shared already, but I will share those projects that we made again with you. So this was the Make and Takes the first day, a little thank you card and matching envelope. And then where do I want to put that? That was the small one, and this is the big one. Happy birthday, and a matching envelope. All right. Like I said, I'll be sharing product samples throughout tonight. On page 32, we've got some small ink pads, the classic Stampin' Spots. But again, it's not just shopping for those. It's being inspired on different ways to use them, different techniques, which I think is really neat. Just like stamping with them, for instance, or dragging them, two-tone. And this is really important to know. So there's 2 assortments. And in assortment 1, we have cloud cover ink. This is going to be the only way for customers to buy cloud cover ink as far as we know, because there was a quality control issue with it. And so we just found out that demonstrators are going to be allowed to purchase it, but there's no guarantee that it will be correct or stay correct. The color was shifting, and it's going to be sold as is. All sales will be final, and again, only to demonstrators. So the best way and the only way as a customer to get the ink is going to be to get this ink spot. We do also have the markers, the blends, and I think that's all in terms of like inking or coloring techniques with cloud cover, but all the other new in colors are just fine. So on those last samples that I showed you from On Stage, I also used this Layered Thoughts stamp set, or we did, because we were all given that as prize patrol. Just wanted to point that out too. That was $1 million sales achiever set, which is really cool. People get to design those when they reach that milestone. All right, another fun thing you can do, not just on your own, but maybe with people you gather, is this bingo. I actually posted on my Facebook page the other day about, I guess it was this version. We played a different version On Stage, but then they had this version up on the big sign, and that's what I posted a picture of. But now you can play, because it was hard to see in my picture, and it's going to be hard to see here, but if you have a catalog, you can play. And the idea is you see what's in your bag, and a lot of it's crafts, but some of it's not, like candy and things like that. And then you get points based on how many you have in your bag. I am at the high end. I am a craft enthusiast who loves to use all the products. True. And if your score is lower and you want to make it higher, you're in the right place to shop with me tonight. All right. So then the next section, Creativity Your Way, starts on page 39. And it starts with sweets. So we have this first off Florals in Bloom sweet. And this one uses at least several of, no, it does. It uses all of the new in colors. So that's really neat. And these embellishments here, I actually have to show you. Let me see what they're called. They are the 2025 to 2027 in color flat pearls. And let me open them because you can't see the secret C. Again, a lot of this I have talked about because we got sneak peeks on stage and we've been allowed to share product and projects with you. We just haven't been able to share the catalog with you. So we've talked about the new in colors. I'd love to hear your favorite in comments. But this is, if you haven't heard, Strawberry Slush, Darling Duckling, Timid Tiger, Cloud Cover, and Secret Sea. These are my 2 favorites, Cloud Cover and Secret Sea. It's hard to tell, but Secret Sea is like a really dark denim, and Cloud Cover is like a gray blue. And the other colors I feel like are easier to determine even over camera. But this will come back up later. We will talk more about these at the end, but I wanted to show you them while they're on the page. I'm not going to worry about putting them back in their package though, because that's a waste in time. Time that we don't have to waste. So this suite goes on for several pages because, again, it's not just showing you the product. It's showing you projects and different techniques and like how they made the DSP. You can see someone hand painting the florals, which is really cool. All the DSP is made in-house at Stampin' Up by visual artists. I love this home decor piece. Isn't that beautiful? As you go through the catalog, it's fun to pick out your favorite samples. My upline one year had us all do that, pick out your favorite sample. All right, so the next suite is the Turtley Cute suite. Now, I'll be honest, when I first saw this suite, I did not think that the art of the turtles was to my liking. But then I saw the DSP and I saw what people were making with this. They demoed it on stage really well, Sarah and Logan from leadership team. And it's just delightful. That is the word for me, because it has all these different activities that the turtles are doing. And my favorite is this turtle all wrapped up in towels, like towel on their head, towel on their body, drinking like a smoothie at the spa or something. But there's so many different fun things that they're doing. And so, it just goes to show things can really grow on you. Like, okay, look at all these little turtles in these samples doing these different activities. Because this is one of the sheets of DSP has these activity backgrounds. And then you can cut the turtles out from the DSP or stamp them and have them like acting out the different scenes. I just thought that was awesome. So I have a few samples here in person to share with you from my friend Debbie Storbeck. So she made a set of 3 cards, which was very generous. We did a swap recently. She only had to do 2 and she did 3. She said she just couldn't stop. She was loving the sweet so much. So puns as always, which I love. It's okay to take it slow. And I love how she just stamped the turtle to kind of create her own DSP background. And then I don't know if you can see real well, but these embellishments, I thought they were sequins and they're not. They are like a gem, like a raised faceted gem, and they are shaped like a, I always get this wrong. Is it hexagon? 6-sided hexagon, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. Go ahead. Correct me in comments. Lisa, you're a teacher. Tell me. You love the florals in bloom. Yes, especially the DSP. I agree. So that's one card from Debbie. The next one is a little more stepped up because it uses this, well, it uses a few dyes. You can see, I wasn't sure what this dye was at first, but this darker green, when you put it on top of the stamped turtle, creates his shell. And then his arm gets partially cut out with the dye as well. So you can slip little things under his hand or into his hand, like the sign for happy birthday. And we've got more of those turtle back shaped gems. And then on the inside, to someone worth celebrating every single day. Very sweet. And last but certainly not least, this one actually, I don't know if you'll be able to tell, so I can get the light to catch it, but this is obviously DSP with all this pattern, but then it also has the embossing folder. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it to catch in the light. Oh, can you see a little bit of the texture there maybe? So the embossing folder kind of creates the tactile texture that this DSP is showing with like these concentric turtle shapes. Anyway, and more of those gems, because I think they come in several different greens, obviously. So hooray, this turtle baked you cake. Hope your birthday is turtly awesome. So cute. So turtly cute, right? As we're going through the sweets, I'd love to hear which one is your favorite. This next one is a contender for me. So this is the Beautiful Gallery Sweet Collection. And just look at this page layout, like, and all these like found antique treasures that they pulled in. Like you don't get a big gold goose when you buy this suite, but like I love all the antique frames that they've basically just framed DSP. Were like created. You'll see on one of the other pages created frames, or like this is almost like a frame on a card front, because the DSP is truly like little works of art. So here you can see some of it, and really different. You've got landscapes, botanicals, all sorts of things. And it's this really muted color palette, just so sophisticated. So I think that's something, really kind of different, and I like it a lot. Like on page 56, see, look, you can just make these little home decor pieces or thank you gifts or hostess gifts, whatever you want to use them for, but just create these little paper frames around the DSP, and it would actually be super simple, quick and easy. Yeah. And I'll just quickly say this. I didn't plan to, and I'm going to run out of time if I just keep doing this, but the die is partially cut pop-up paper designs. So look at that, those framed pieces with the dies that create this texture, because you can like partially pop or kind of peel them up. It's beautiful, like fleur-de-lis and flora, just beautiful. All right, next up is, I'm probably going to mispronounce this, but the Kintsugi Inspirations. And if you know about Kintsugi art, I'm going to not probably get the nuance of it, but my basic understanding is it is the art of taking broken pottery like this and using gold to seam the pieces back together. And it's got this beautiful message of what was broken can be beautiful in its brokenness and can be restored. And so I really love that. And this suite really embraces that message of this art form, because the stamp sentiments say things like, there's beauty in your history. I know you'll get through this and be stronger for it. And then things like, I'm here for you. Thanks for helping me through this difficult time. You inspire me. But I really love the message behind it. And I just think it's beautiful. And it represents, an Eastern culture. I think it's a Japanese tradition. And so something more diverse to us here in North America. Here, see, I should have just read this. Page 60 explains it. Kintsugi is a traditional Japanese technique. We'll see how I did. This is my little test of repairing broken pottery with gold lacquer. The mended gold veins become a celebration of imperfection instead of hiding it. We love that philosophy, as do I. All right, next up is Boho Vibes. This one reminds me of like a retro road trip out west. And what was I wanting to share with you on this one? I have something marked here. I have something here about wanting to share this page with you, and I don't remember why. I guess different techniques of how to create different rainbows. So again, just maybe I was marking that to share again a reminder that it's an inspiration book, not just a sales catalog. Otherwise, I can't remember why I wanted to share that with you. A rainbow is another good message, right? Of hope. Okay, so on page 64, we've got 3 ways to scrapbook. So more scrapbooking. And like I said, this gets a little confusing. But you have the scrapbook workshop kits, which we already saw on pages 13 to 21. Then you have quick and easy scrapbooking on pages 24 to 31. And then scrapbooking from scratch, which are these next few pages, 65 through 79. But remember, the scrapbooking workshop kits, the quick and easy products under quick and easy scrapbooking, and then the scrapbooking from scratch products we're about to see. They're all in those same 4 themes. Although I think the quick and easy scrapbooking had things like the memories and more and some other options too. But scrapbooking workshop kits and scrapbooking from scratch are going to be the same 4 themes, but each product offering that you could purchase would include some different elements. And so, yeah, just keep that in mind. Okay, so see, once again, we have Memories in Bloom. We have, and this is more a la carte. So, you can buy the DSP, but you could buy this DSP as part of the suite. The difference here is it comes with a sticker sheet. But the pack of paper and stickers that's going to come in the workshop kit is going to be a little different than this. Some of it's going to be the same, but some of it's going to be different. So again, everywhere you can purchase it, it's a little different. It's not the same thing repeated. That's what I originally thought. I thought, why do they have the same scrapbooking stuff in multiple sections of the catalog when space is a premium? But they don't. There's also 2-tone cardstock packs as part of this, which you can buy all these colors individually, and we'll get to that later in the catalog. But here, you pay $12 for 10 sheets instead of $12 for 12 sheets, but you get a variety instead of all 12 of the same color. And they, of course, coordinate with the rest of the kit, again, these aren't kits, the rest of the theme, the scrapbooking theme. So again, there's the turtle theme. Sorry, this is hard to hold up. The Celebrate Taylor theme. Remember, this one coordinates with a suite that's online exclusive. And where is the last one? There it is. Okay. And this is the one I wanted to point something out about specifically this time. Let me remember what. I think it's that this DSP pack is 4 each of 3 double-sided designs instead of 2 each of 6 double-sided designs. As you can see, fewer designs on this one. And again, this is the only one that does not coordinate with a suite. Okay, so on page 74, we have flip flaps, which is just fun to say. And these are clear sleeves that allow you to put in more journaling, more photos, create a more interactive scrapbook experience. And I've always liked flip-flop cards that have like a little like 3x3 or 3x4 card on the front of a full-size 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch card. But of course, if you're doing something like photos and you have it in a scrapbook that's being like paged through, you want to protect it. So you wouldn't just, do this with cardstock. That's where the flip-flops, I think, are going to be helpful. And then you have your albums on page 75. Remember that the pages are sold separately. Okay. My arm's getting tired. I was also working the last 4 days. So I've had 9 days work in a row without a day off. And the last 4 days I was nannying, and the last 2 days I went from nannying 1 to 2. So I've been holding a little baby, not all day, every day. I've actually had very little time with her so far, but as little as she is, your arms do get sore. Trying not to wake her up, having her lay in one position, but so sweet. Anyway, but I think that's why I'm feeling a little extra need to stretch. Okay, so I mentioned earlier the 2-tone cardstock. On page 77, you have all 53 current Stampin' Up! Colors in 2-tone cardstock, which is really exciting. And this is, like I said, 12 sheets of one color. However, it is two-tone. So for instance, it would be real red on front and back, but one side would be slightly darker, one side would be slightly lighter shade of that color. And it also has a white core. And so you can do different techniques with tearing. In fact, one of the projects I made to share with you tonight uses that very intentionally. And you can also just get 12 by 12 white cardstock called White Willow. It's actually a carryover from Close to My Heart, the company that Stampin' Up worked with as they were closing last year. And they had called it White Daisy. Now it's White Willow because, of course, Stampin' Up colors have to alliterate. So if you're a former Close to My Heart maker or customer, and you're looking for that, it is there. Or a Stampin' Up customer who wants to have that, for just a basic scrapbooking. I just remembered I have this to share with you from on stage, and I would have shared this in my recap, I believe, but I'll share it with you here now. So we got to do at Product Playground, one of the stations was on two-tone cardstock, which was my first time, I think, seeing it in person. And we did a few different techniques with it. So we tore it. Here you can see, there we go. So this is the same, you're not seeing the two-tone here, but you're seeing the white core where I tore it. We crinkled it to create some texture. Hopefully you can see that. The light is making it challenging. There we go. If I can block the light, I feel like you can see a little better. We sanded it, which reveals that white core, which is kind of cool. And then folding it, this shows you the two-tone. Again, it's a little hard in this light, but hopefully you can see darker, lighter shade. So yeah, glad I remembered that. Okay, what's next? We're halfway through. Lisa loves the two-tone. Awesome. And the color in celebratory sips. I agree. I really love the celebratory sips suite. It's a tongue twister. And I will say one of the things I love about it is it could be mocktails just as easily as cocktails. So however you like to celebrate, you are included. Oh, and it is a hexagon. Lisa, I thought she's a teacher. She's going to know. So thank you. Thank you for reassuring me on that. Let's see. What is next? Oh, so here's one of my favorite samples in the catalog. Notice it is all paper. It just has a stamped sentiment. That's very much my style. Where am I pointing? Here we go. And notice they created this whole beautiful layered landscape, tearing the paper, the two-tone paper, and having that white edge actually looks really nice on the mountains and the fields. So love that. And here's my example. Oh, wow. This flowed really well. I couldn't have planned it better myself. Thank you, Stampin' Up. So on page 81, this is the Notes and Totes bundle, which was the first bundle I bought from the catalog. I love creating little scenes. I love creating little treat bags. You can make the tote into a treat bag. And I used the two-tone paper on this project myself. So let me show you. Okay, so I created a beach scene, and I used a two-tone paper. This was one piece. I ripped it so that I would get ocean with a little sea spray edge, that white edge. And then I put the darker side to be ocean, the lighter side to be sky. And so underneath here is the other torn edge, but it's covered up because I put down my sky, and then I layered the ocean on top of it with the, again, sea foam spray. Relax and enjoy. And then on the inside, let me open it this way. It is a gift card holder. Whoop. Am I holding it? I'm holding it upside down. It says, I'm trying to block the light. Can you see? Probably not. It says, you earned it. Stamped tone on tone, so it's a little hard to see right there. But I've got some sand stamped, and you could put a little gift card or cash or something like that in the beach bag. So I thought that was a really fun way of using this bundle. All right. Moving right along. What's next? Okay. My favorite thing with the new catalog is brand new product. And obviously there's lots of new products, lots of those little pink ends throughout this catalog. But what I mean by a totally new product is not just a new stamp, ink, paper, but a type of product we haven't seen before, or at least haven't seen in a while. Or I should say, at least I haven't seen, because I haven't been with Stampin' Up for all 37-ish years that it's been going, something like that. We just celebrated 35 like 2 years ago. So anyway, so on page 85, they have had washi tape before, but not much, not for a while. And I've never seen it like this. I'm curious, those of you who've been with Stampin' Up longer, if you know of them having done this before. But this is a roll of washi tape. This whole page talks about it. It's $15, but it is huge. It doesn't say here the size. Let me see if I can peek real quick at the back. I just ordered it, or I'm just ordering it today. Still haven't placed that order, but I will. And this is one of the nice things online. You could get more detailed product detail on this. But let me see if I can find it for us quickly. Let's see. I could have just waited till we got there, but we saw it on stage. Okay, so its width is 3 inches and a quarter. And then you get 10 yards of it. And you get two, like as you unroll it, there's two different like versions of the florals. There's like a more purple version and a more pink version. It kind of reminds me of Sleeping Beauty, where the fairies are changing her dress from pink to blue to pink to blue. And it coordinates with the Extraordinary Flora bundle. It's the Extraordinary Flora washi tape. So it's all the same name. On page 84, this bundle is really neat because you get a smack in the face from your catalog. So you get in the stamp set, this one stamp all at once will stamp all of those floral images. And then this one die will cut them all out in one pass in your Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. So that's awesome. And then the die, as you might have noticed on this page, will also cut out in one pass all the flowers on the washi tape. So it's the same design as the stamp, just amazing coordination. I love it. And it's just so pretty. I love the colors they did on the washi tape. I love that it's kind of translucent since it's washi tape. Just gives it a really soft, romantic look to me. Okay. On page 86 and 87, I'll be honest, it might be the most expensive bundle I've ever seen. It is the most expensive bundle I've ever seen. What I meant to say is it might be the most expensive bundle Stampin' Up! Has ever done. Again, if you've been with Stampin' Up! Longer, I'd love to hear if you know of a more expensive one. As the woman on stage who demoed it said, this is an investment. But there's so many different things you can do with it, and I'll be honest, I am tempted. So it's another alphabet set, but much larger. The letters are 2 and 15/16, so basically 3 inches by 1 and 11/16, so over 1.5. So they're big, and you can get it with the Party Banners dies, which has 20 different sizes of this banner shape. It's $125 to buy both, but when you do buy both together, you're getting 10% off each, which for products that pricey is a significant amount. But they don't just make banners. You can, of course, make cards. You can make these treat boxes, which I thought was really neat, with like the letter of the first name of the person. It could be a really nice party gift, party favor, place setting. So yeah, you could do a whole party with this bundle and some paper. So anyway, just wanted to point that out. And then on page 88, there's a little note here about meaningful messages. And it says, it's resonated with me because I'm someone who tends to write more in my cards, which is sometimes the reason I don't get to them timely. Sometimes I tell myself, like, just send it instead of writing so much or worrying about what you're going to write so much. But anyway, it says, don't neglect the inside of your handmade cards. The message means a lot. And if you don't know what to say, we've designed plenty of sentiment stamps that work for both the outside and inside of a card. And this is one of them, the right words, on page 89. So it has these matching fonts so that you can have totally coordinated messages inside and out. So you could say something like, let me find one I really want to share. Well, a really short one would be thinking of you a lot. Or there could be a longer one like, I wish I had the right words for a time like this, but just know how much I love and care about you. So that's outside, inside. So yeah, and there's lots of different occasions represented. So very versatile and could help if you don't like to write a lot on the inside or you're sometimes paralyzed by that like I am. All right. So we've switched from purple to yellow. We're making great time here, although I do have more to share with you. But another new type of product, to me at least, is on page 92 and 93. It's what's called building block stamps. And I've heard other brands have done this, but I've never even seen that. So this was completely new to me, saw it on stage. And it's these stamps that it looks like one stamp, but it's actually 4. This looks like one stamp, but it's 4. So you could stamp it all and have it be like a background stamp and completely cover the front of your card. Or you could stamp just the sentiment, or just, the wreath, or just the kind of framing, or, just this set of stripes, just this set of polka dots, or all of them, and see how it peels apart. So it's like a puzzle. So cool. And I think just a really cool technique. All right. Some other cool types of stamp sets. So we've got reversible stamps, and Hannah Bird. I love this bird set. Feathered Fun. And oh man, they told us on stage what the types of birds were. I'm going to forget. If you know, tell me. But lovebirds, almost called a titmouse. I think that's this one. That looks like a parakeet to me, but I don't remember, and I don't remember that one either. So if you know, please share. I also think this is a really different type of stamp set. This was one of the Prize Patrol stamp sets. I got a different one, but this is called Along These Lines. And it's just a different type of artwork than I've seen before. And some different, types of iconography. Is that overstated? I don't know. Images. But this is the stamp that I got. I actually traded for it at On Stage because it has a little bird too. The Along the Lines did as well, but I love that this background stamp creates a whole scene. It's called Peaceful View, and let me show you what I did with it. I think this would be amazing in the in colors, by the way, but I don't have those inks yet. But there you go. I stamped it in black, mounted it on a black card base, and then I used the blending brushes to do, I think it's Pool Party, Lemon Lolly, and Petal Pink in the background. And then this is heat embossed with the white embossing powder on a little flag there. But I think if you did this in Secret Sea instead of black, which it's almost black, and then you used Strawberry Slush, Timid Tiger, and Darling Duckling as kind of your sunrise sunset, and then you could put it on cloud cover paper. But I don't have those ink pads, so couldn't do that. And you might notice I do have a few embellishments on there. Again, if I did it with the ink colors, with my other embellishments up here. Kind of blend in because I had the colors match. I could use these embellishments, which, did you notice these have like a little shine to them, like almost a little iridescence, but it's subtle. But I see it more on the blues. Anyway, very pretty. All right. I'm skipping so many things. There's so many other good new products. Page 98 are some returning favorites, but if you don't see something here that you have and love or love but didn't get yet, don't worry. This is not everything that is returning or carrying over, I don't believe. The best way to check that would be the online store, to go there, and that's always going to show everything current. If it's sold out, it'll just say currently unavailable. If it's sold out, never to return, it won't be listed there. And demonstrators have some lists of things like that that have been retired, or we have access to some restocking information sometimes, so you can always ask. But there are a few pages of returning favorites to check out in the catalog. And then on page 102, again, so much more than a catalog, so helpful. Instead of just listing the tools with their SKU numbers and prices, this is Ask a Stampin' Up! Artist, and it has some interesting questions like, can I use a hairdryer for embossing? The answer is no. Or as they say, please don't. But just some ways to learn how to use your tools and what tools you need and things like that. And then what everyone was asking for after last year's new catalog, new format came out, some more indexes. So grouping together some different product types. So on page 104 and 105, we have all together the punches. And so that is exciting for a lot of people. I will say one not exciting thing, but it's temporarily unexciting, is that the one new punch, the 1 7/8 circle punch, is not currently available, even though the new catalog is released today. It's the only product, though, that is delayed. And so sometimes that happens outside of Stampin' Up! Or anybody else's control, usually with an unforeseen shipping delay. And so it is on its way, and we will know soon exactly when that will be here. Just watch the online store if you want to know, or ask me, and I can let you know what we're finding out as demonstrators. All right, page 109 has all the embossing folders, and there are a few new ones of those to go along with a few of the suites. I showed you the turtle textures one. And on 110, see, this is something that could be really basic and really boring. The blocks that you use to mount stamps on, so that you can have just one set of blocks and be space efficient and just, restick your stamps on them. Such a simple thing, but they've made it fun with blocks and showed all these different techniques of things you could do with your blocks to use them as stamps to make this plaid. They made plaid. Can you see that? Let's see if the light will let me show you that. Come on. Where are you? Can you see the stripes? They made that plaid with blocks. How cool is that? I'd never heard of that before. So lots of fun ideas. Page 110, not 10. Again, I'm going to skip some sections like adhesives. There's no new adhesives, but that is a basic, of course, you need. And so that comes up back here. But then we have all the paper together again, which as a paper person, I appreciate. And there is a lot of returning paper. There's a lot of new paper too, but it's almost 50-50. And this paper, Perennial Lavender, talk about perennial. It's living up to its name. This is, I think, the third catalog that this DSP has shown up in, which I have never seen a DSP do before. It used to be DSP never carried over, but that has happened now for the last couple of years, I think. But again, almost, if not more than half of it is also new. Let's see, just a few more things I wanted to share with you. So page 124 and 125 has all the embellishments. And this, again, a totally new type of product, at least for Stampin' Up., at least to me, is the metallic textures rub-ons. So check these out. We saw these on stage too. We didn't get to play with them, but we got to see them. I think I posted the picture the other day on my Facebook. But you've got gold and silver, and you've got two different designs. And you just rub them on. So like you could use a bone folder to burnish, and they adhere to your project. And look how beautiful. That metallic accent. There's lots of metallic accents on that one, actually. And while we're at it, let me also point out this sample. I mean, this uses a lot of embellishments. I think it's those in colored dots that I keep showing you, but how pretty is that to create like a floral pattern with the embellishments? So anyway, that's a great way to kind of finish and dress up your project. It's like putting on your jewelry with your outfit, which I don't often do, but it does make it more polished. And then after embellishments, we have ribbons and trim, and then more tools and inks and things. Again, I'm not going to talk about all these pages, but again, they talk about different techniques. And then this, I think, again, just it reminds me of magazines I read when I was a teenager. It's so fun. So another way to be interactive, and this is not directly making Stampin' Up! Any money to do this, but it indirectly does, I'm sure, because it just makes me love them all the more. So it's like a little personality test. Your color personality. So I did this with my mom when I was preparing for this catalog launch, like I said, a month ago on vacation with her. And so I'm gonna ask you all, what color are you most drawn to? I see Lisa's the only one who's been commenting live, and I know Lisa's favorite color, and it is purple. But Lisa, if you want a different color, in terms of like the one that you think embodies your personality, put it in the chat. But while I'm waiting for you to do that, I'm going to read what I think you would say, which is the purple personality. So here it is. Purple is royal, charismatic, and confident. And she says purple, 3 exclamation points. Okay, good. It represents luxury and ambition. I know Lisa is an ambitious person in the best possible way. Like I said, she's a teacher now. She was a lawyer before. She's a hard worker and a smart woman. And then it talks more about just crafting. So no matter what shade of purple you use, you are showing strength. So it talks a little bit about personality and a little bit about crafting. When we were on stage, I didn't know that it was a personality test, and I just chose brown. But then when I read through them all, I was like, that probably is the one I most resonate with, at least. It says brown is comfortable. Its easy presence gives warm, supportive energy. I hope so. It's subtle, but adds the perfect contrast to a variety of paper crafts. That's the crafting part. So anyway, let me know what your color is. I will share with you what that says about you, quote unquote. It's just fun. And then it gets into color theory. We have the color coach wheel that everyone fell in love with last year from On Stage and is available to buy. And then we have all the colors, including those new in colors. So you see our last year's in colors and this year's in colors listed there. Again, it will list the cloud cover classic Stampin' Pad, but that is the one thing that will not be available as far as we know, except for 2 demonstrators while supplies last. All right. Paper pumpkin. Okay, so I said we'd get back to this. Here it is, advertised at the back of the catalog. So May's paper pumpkin, I just sent out an e-vite for a couple days ago. I'm pulling up the details on my phone to make sure I get them right to share with you. It is called Mountain Majesties. It's a more traditionally masculine, or at least gender neutral kit inspired by nature, which I love. It's like these layers of mountains, kind of like that 2-tone cardstock sample, but all in kind of blues and like, I don't know. It's like the Blue Ridge Mountains. It reminds me of like, a morning where everything's just kind of like that like dusty blue as you like look across the layers. Anyway, there's vellum. I think it's going to be lovely in a masculine way. So lovely is probably not the right word. I know my dad doesn't love the word lovely. Anyway, my party for that paper pumpkin kit is going to be on, I thought I wrote this down, but I didn't. May, I'm looking on my calendar now, 25th, which is a Sunday, 1 to 3 p.m. And I'll have an in-person version if you live locally. And I have a virtual option via FaceTime if you want to join from anywhere else in the country or the world, in a country that gets paper pumpkin, which I guess would just be Canada if you're not here in the US. But anyway, I am really excited for that kit. I always like their May kits, always kind of have this like nature, more masculine vibe. And this one I think looks particularly, what would be a good word that is more masculine or is gender neutral? Well, majestic. I mean, it's in the name, majestic. Yeah, we'll just go with that. And then let's see. I also wanted to talk to you about the join offer. So Stampin' Up! Always has something in here about if you want to be a demonstrator. And handsome. Oh, perfect, Lisa. Thank you. Yes, it is a very handsome kit. Perfect. So Stampin' Up! Always has a special offer for what they call the starter kit. And I feel like all these words can be intimidating, like, because you don't have to start anything, really, truly. You do not have to demonstrate anything. You do not have to run a business. Even join, I feel like, can make people nervous, but really, you are truly, and I really, really like cannot stress enough how there is no catch. It is not too good to be true. It just is the truth that you are just joining all the good things. So you're joining the community. You get lots of inspiration and support beyond even what you get as a customer. You get a discount. You get early access. You get special events like I've been talking about with Onstage, and other things too that don't require travel and as much of an investment. But yeah, and then you get, I mean, if nothing else, you get this starter kit deal, which is always a discount. It's $99 for $125 worth of product of your choice, and it's free shipping. And you get supplies, which if you aren't going to do a business, you don't have to use, you can recycle. But you get a free paper pumpkin, speaking of paper pumpkin. So you get all these extra value for just $99. But right now, for the month of May, Stampin' Up! Is doing a starter kit special. And so it's actually 100, let me make sure I'm getting this right. I am. $165 worth of product of your choice for $99, including the shipping. Plus, like I said, the supplies, the paper pumpkin kit, and then all these additional benefits that you get beyond the starter kit. And so for at least 4 months, you can enjoy that discount, that early access, the community, the inspiration, all the things. If you have questions about that, let me know. I immediately joined when I found out about Stampin' Up! Because I realized, like, there is no catch. This is the best deal. I will get the most for my money this way, even if I don't stay a demonstrator after that, 4-month period, because I can't make my minimums. Because that is the only thing to stay a demonstrator. You have to meet a quarterly minimum of $300. And if you don't, you drop. And Stampin' Up! Is fine with it if you drop. They know that people sometimes will sign up planning to drop, and that's fine. Sometimes people will even like call up to drop before they don't meet the minimum, which I don't know why you do that, because then you're just cutting yourself short on the benefits in the meantime. But yeah, there's really no obligation, just benefit. All right, that might have been the last thing I wanted to share before a few more samples and talk of prizes. I think it is. Okay, good timing. I was worried I would go long and I was worried I would go short. I'm never quite sure. So a couple samples I didn't get to share with you because, like I said, today the online exclusives also released, the new online exclusives. So you did see some things that looked like this because there's the scrapbooking kit or the scrapbooking supplies, I should say, for this celebratory sips. Celebrate together, celebrate themed suite of products. And this uses the suite, not the scrapbooking supplies in the catalog, but the suite from the online exclusive. My friend Barbara Dykehouse made this beautiful card, and it's a fun fold, which I love. So see, this could be like flavored lemonades or cocktails, but cheers. It's your day, regardless. I love that card. And then this is the sweet jar bundle. I pulled it up because I wanted to make sure I got the name, and now I'm Having to double check. I believe so. Let me let you look at it while I look it up again because it went away. Yes, the Sweet Jar Bundle, also by Barbara. And this you can make chocolate chip cookies as she did. You can make other kinds of cookies. These could be done in other colors and obviously without the chips. Jelly beans. What have other people made? Well, there's also other stamps that will fill the jar with, let's see, oh, shamrocks and their sentiments about luck, hearts and sentiments about love, candles and sentiments about celebrating and birthdays. This one I think is a birthday card. Yep, happy birthday. Another fun fold. So that's a really neat bundle, and it comes with the punch that punches out the pieces for the jar. And then, oh, that was the last one. Never mind. And then nothing. There's no more samples to show you, but we do need to talk about prizes. So I mentioned that I'm not doing my prize for purchases because now Stampin' Up! Has me covered on that because you are going to earn 10% back in basically a loyalty reward that you can use towards product of your choice, either immediately when you earn it or after it's accumulated. You have a year to use those rewards, and that'll be for every $20 or more purchase before tax and shipping. So if you spend $20, you're gonna get $2 in rewards because again, it's 10%. If you spend $100, you'll get $10 in rewards for the future. But I am still going to do my prize for participation, so you don't have to spend a penny for this one. All you have to do is invite friends who you think might be interested in these new crafts. Or maybe they aren't crafty, or at least they don't think they are, because I think everybody is capable of crafts, especially with the way Stampin' Up! Can make it so easy with kits and things like that and all the instructions. But maybe you just want something to do with the people in your life. Maybe you want to have cards on hand or make gifts wrapped special, or prepare for a gathering at your home, or have a gathering at your home to just get together and do something fun with people. I'm probably repeating options at this point, but there's others too. So anyway, anyone you think might be interested in this, invite them to watch and just have them comment that they did and that it was you that invited them. So all they'd have to do is say, Hannah Bird watched at Lisa Duchesne's recommendation. And then I'll know that they did so that I can enter you both to win. And this is how I always do it. So you're not in competition with the people you invite. So the more people you invite, that's not the less chances, that's the more chances for you to win. So you'll be entered to win for every person you invite. And they, by participating, your invitee will be entered to win a separate prize. And what you're playing for are these, which you probably guessed because I've been alluding to it all night. So the 2025 to 2027 in color flat pearls, or an item of equal or lesser value. If you don't love these, you want to choose another embellishment or ribbon or trim or something else, or just put the, I think, $8.50 that these are worth towards something else you're buying, like a stamp set or DSP or something like that, whatever your favorite product is. And so you'll be entered to win, your invitee will be entered to win, and you're entered for every person you invite who participates. So please do that. You have till the end of May, the 31st, to do that. And I think that's all, but let me check my note. I might be done 3 minutes early. That might be a record for me. If you have any questions, please just comment. And again, I'll be trying to watch comments. Thank you for joining me on YouTube. I had said in the minute that I was early to kind of get things going and make sure they were working. I wanted to try YouTube this time because as far as I know, it doesn't currently have the limitation that Facebook is instituting now with videos expiring, their live videos expiring. So I wanted to be able to have this up longer, and it seems we can still chat. Thank you so much, Lisa, for joining and chatting. That was very reassuring and a lot more fun for me to be talking to someone, not just to myself or at the unknown. So thank you, everyone. Lisa live, and I think one other person's live, maybe just not able to comment. So whoever you are, and anyone who watches on replay, please like this video if you did. Like I said, comment and I will try to reply. And the most helpful thing you can do is share with others you think may be interested, which this time could win you a prize, and follow here on YouTube and on Facebook and on my socials. So if you have any questions, like I said, let me know. I always ramble here at the end because I never want it to end. I enjoy this so much, even after 9 days straight of work and 3 more ahead. So good night to all. And Julie was the other one joining. Hello. Thank you so much for joining. So have a good rest of your night, and I will hope to see you soon. Until next time, happy crafting.